Alright everybody, so today I'm going to show y'all how to do the Flashpoint curation in order to make games get their files off of the websites. So this application right here, Flashpoint, like if you just go and you head over to like Flashpoint and you download one of these aren't, they will work. But what you really want is the older version, and they don't have either of them on here. But I have a portable version on my website, so TTG, that's where the tutorial is going to be. It'll also be on my YouTube. But if you head over to DevVault right here, and then you scroll all the way down, or actually not all the way down, you got to go to Tools, and you got Core 11 download. So you can click on this and it'll download Core 11 or it'll start it. I already have it, so I don't need it. It's a 7-zip, so you gotta extract it. And you can run it through a virus tool if you want first, or you can look for other versions of Flashpoint. But really what you're looking for is Flashpoint Core. It can be Core 9, Core 10, Core 11. It can be earlier version too, but I'd usually stick with like the later versions, because those were the best versions of Core until they rebranded it to Infinity. But it just doesn't work as well. Infinity doesn't work as well for me. So Core is where you want. So you're also going to need a game. So just go to like look up unblocked games like I did. Unblocked games, cool math, unblocked games. And I could realistically do it to one of my own games if I wanted to. But what you're going to want to look for is a game that in your head just like have some common sense and think, is this game able to be ripped? Because some games aren't able to be ripped. Like, a lot of times if you try to rip an IO game, it's not going to work. And there's just a lot of games that won't work, like games with heavy DRM, like games from Crazy Games, games from Pokey. You can rip games from Pokey, but you need to mess with the Pokey SDK, and that's not part of this tutorial. That's a little more complicated. So you really want to look for like unblocked game sites like this. Like I just clicked on Classroom Management and it just brought me to this. Looks like a great site. Looks like it's got a lot of cool games. Now, if the site is GitHub, you probably could find their files on GitHub if it's public. But whether you're curating from a GitHub game or a cool math game, it's all going to work the same. You want to look for HTML games because Flash games are very, very easy to download. So for example, let's do Geometry Dash Classic. There was no ruffle, there was no WAF Flash. So I know that this is actually an HTML5 game. You can go ahead and inspect this. You can do Control-Shift-I or whatever you want to inspect. And you can just click on this and click on it. That just identifies where the element is. So it's a canvas, and a canvas is usually linked to an iframe because this is inside the body. So you really want to look for the iframe above the canvas, and then you can just open it in a new tab, and then Control-Shift-C to open it. And if there's no more iframes, you can see if you look for things like runtime. There's also like just things to tell you that this is the source file for the game. And if I'm hovering over this is the source file of the game. It's easy to tell just by looking at it. It'll look similar to this, and if it doesn't, that's okay. So you're going to copy this onto your clipboard. You're going to want to boot up Flashpoint for the first time. So this will be you want to extract it with WinZip, or if you have new Windows has extraction tools, so I can compress to these 3 files, and I can also extract from these 3 file types. You can just extract it, and then it's going to open a Flashpoint core, and it might have like layers of folders. You're just going to take this shortcut right here, which is start Flashpoint, and that's going to start this. So this is a portable version, so you can move this anywhere. Everything's stored inside of this little folder. You're going to go up to curate up here. If curate doesn't show for you, which it should show for you, so if it doesn't show for you, then I don't know, you have a problem. If you don't have curate, then just go into settings and enable it. 411 should always have curate enabled by default. Just click curate. There might be something here like a default curation. If not, just click new curation and then title. I already forget what game I picked. I picked Geometry Dash. I don't name it something too it doesn't really matter. This stuff, if you're just trying to get the files, doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is you want to change it to HTML5 as the platform. You want to use Basilisk portable /Basilisk portal.exe. This is what's going to help you run HTML files. And then a launch command is just the link to the game minus the S in HTTPS, because it can't be secure. It has to be the normal protocol, not the secure protocol. So some people will also put it in the source. And you can do that because when you're curating it, it will show for other people if you have this public and you like put it on. But these are all you need. All you need is a title, a platform, application path, and a launch command. Also, sometimes it might make you enter a tag. You can just enter HTML, or there's tons of tags. So down here, it's gonna have like warnings. Just ignore all of these. It doesn't matter. The warnings only matter until, like, if you refresh content after you run it. So if you run it, it's probably not gonna work. You want to say yes to this, and yeah, it's not gonna work because you have to run it with the Mozilla, the Firefox, Mad4PF. This is Mozilla's software, and I won't go into how it works because it's very confusing, but it basically lets you get multiple files off of it by looking for every file. Now, this does not work all the time. If it doesn't work for you, then it might just simply not be a game that is able to be curated, and you might have to use something like HTTrack. You can see that it canceled it failed the first time for me, and I just retried it and it worked. It's a bit laggy, but I recommend you don't have to play through the whole game, because if you run with Mad4PF especially, it should get all those things for you and you'll be okay. But generally, you might want to play through a little bit of the game just to make sure that it works and that everything is going okay. So I guess my hundreds of hours in this shitty Geometry Dash paying off right now. So once you've tested that it works and that your game is functioning, you know, you got... Ooh, these are some cool skins. So you can actually just X out of this without having to worry about anything. And then just go into Flashpoint, and you don't have to refresh. You can go straight to open folder, but I would click refresh content. This is going to show you assets that it has downloaded or errors. It could show an error, but this is content files. So it's going to show you assets that have been downloaded. It'll show you the storage, but it doesn't really matter unless it's like a really, really heavy game. Most web games don't take up that much space. Just click open folder. It's going to open inside of Flashpoint. It's going to go into curations, working, and then it's going to have all your creations right here. And you just want to click on it. It'll bring you into this folder. So meta.ymaml doesn't matter. Go into content, and then this is the website. You click on the website, and then it might have subfolders. So in the website, it was in an action games folder, and it was in the Geometry Dash folder. These are the games. So all you need is the parent folder to the index, to the source file, unless it has, some games have a thing where like there'll be an index in here, Geometry Dash, and then you would have to take action games, and you could do some restructuring yourself if you wanted to keep it in one folder, but it's easier to just keep it how it is and just link one directory deeper. Once you get Geometry Dash, you can just drag it to your desktop downloads or your unblocked project. I'll drag it to my desktop. Then you can just close Flashpoint, or you can save your creation, and it will save your creation automatically. You can close these tabs. We don't really need these anymore. And then that's it. You're pretty much done. Unless you want to test the game, then I would open up your code editor. I choose Visual Studio. Just open the folder of the game, or if you just drag the game into your games folder, then use that. So just go into the HTML, and you can run this if you have a plugin. Like I use Live Server, and this basically lets you just right click and open with Live Server, or you can test it however you want to test it. And then as you can see, the game is running fine for me. Console, it's got a couple of errors in here. It's saying that it's missing offline client.js. It's missing the icon PNG, but it seems to be working. It's pretty damn laggy. I think that's just the nature of this really shitty clone. Anyway, that's how you curate games, and then you can add them to your Unblocked Games website.